This is Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search from my site. Postmates Advanced Training. I'm going to share my screen. I'm getting even I'm relatively intense in a lot of things, and I'm getting more intense and more serious about this. So this is an example of my intensity. I now have an agenda of this hangout. So first, other people must get it. I'm going to talk about the Kalamazoo Killer, today's deliveries, the dashboard, and rating. I've got an email that gives me my rating. So I'm going to tie the last item into the first item. In the email, you'll see my rating. And I have to believe people get the email like I've gotten, and they immediately say, "Oh, that's my rating. Is that good?" It's an instinctive question. And I have a feeling people think other people must get it. I don't know what the rating means, but someone must understand what it means. And I'm not that person. I'm speaking as if I'm another Postmates person. Postmates is awesome. The app is your boss, your supervisor, your coworkers, your HR department, your employment review, your pay system. It's just everything. And this, cutting edge tech company has figured out how to basically turn all of that stuff, payroll, HR, boss, supervisor, coworkers, put all that stuff into the app. And it really is awesome. It's also really lonely. You don't have a boss, you don't have a supervisor, you don't have coworkers, and sometimes the people you're serving don't really like you. So I had one today where the woman, I'm at the desk, and I call up and I say, they're sending me around to the service entrance. How do you want to fix this? Well, this is the first call I've had. I don't know. They usually just show up. Well, this was in the garment district. This woman was in fashion. Forgive the stereotype. She was a bitch. And don't forgive the stereotype. That was offensive and you're in fashion. But the truth is, I didn't need a history lesson on how delivery people bring salads to the 23rd floor. I didn't need a history lesson on all prior deliveries prior to me. I just needed to know, what am I supposed to do? So this woman it was no problem. I went around to the service entrance, which was like I had to go around the front of the building, then to the intersection, down the side of the building, and then up this winding ramp that's capable of pushing, like the UPS people can deliver there. I'm just carrying this little salad. And I go up the switchbacks up to the level that's about as high as a truck. So like, 10 feet high, into an office, swipe my ID, show my ID, and go to the service elevator. It was not that big a deal. But the point is, this woman couldn't even listen to me and say, "Well, I don't know, where are you? What are they telling you?" There wasn't any helpful questions at all. And this is the woman who supposedly loves me because I have her lunch. So again, the app does everything: supervisor, boss, coworkers, HR, payroll. It's everything. And so the only people you interact with are sometimes women like this who wants to give you a history lesson on how everyone else has done it with ease, and indirectly saying, "You're the buffoon who can't seem to figure out how to get to me because everyone else figures out how to get to me." Okay, thank you for that education on the history of people to deliver it to you, but I wasn't seeking a history lesson. Whatever. Other people might get it. I'm going to tie back into the rating. You look at your rating and say, I don't know, is that good? I don't know if my rating's good. I have I've had this history. I have this life history where I don't know any more than the next person, but somehow people look at me as if I get it. And that's happened in university. I remember when I was in my 20s in group projects, suddenly people like, how do you know that? I'm like, I don't, but somehow I gloss over the stuff that I don't know. And so I'm going to try to do a better job on these videos and highlight what I don't know. And the rating is down here. That's an example of something I don't get. So please, listeners, if you are feeling insecure because you think everyone gets it, everyone can get to the 23rd floor except you, this video series is for you. And I'm going to try to customize it better and highlight clearly the occasions where people attempt to make me feel like everybody else gets it. So other people must get it. You know what? They might. But if you're confused, other people are confused. Very rarely do people stand up, get on video like me, and say, I'm confused too. And this is precisely what confuses me. The next, the Kazoo Killer. Kalamazoo, Michigan. That's a city in Michigan. I know the city. I've been to the city years ago, a decade ago. It's in the southern part of Michigan, not the Upper Peninsula, all the way up. And this is where the Uber driver decided to drive around and shoot people. In the news today, which means it was in the news this morning, which means that he probably did this yesterday. He testified to police, and it was made public. I'm trusting yesterday that he claims the app. I'm going to pause for a moment of respect. There are people killed by this man, and there are also a lot of people killed needlessly by the excess guns in the hands of crazy people. So this is a serious topic, and I'm going to slow this down, try not to laugh about the Kazoo Killer. It's really insensitive, and it's Americans hardened to the death of we just accept as normal. So I'm going to try to get back on track and not treat this like a joke. I am going to try to leverage the Kazoo Killer, kind of a lighter side of it, but I want to pay respect to the tragedy that it represents and most directly the surviving people of his victims. So there's my moment of silence. On to the lighter side of this guy. So he is, some of these people are crazy, but you know what? The truth is they're really not crazy. They're just angry and they've got guns. Well, this guy is truly crazy. Also in the news very recently is a guy that thought he got his hands on guns also. He was from Montana. He got himself to Washington, D.C., where he was arrested, and he had convinced himself that all the members of Congress were Martians. They've certainly been called worse, but he truly believed they were Martians, and he even had pictures of them in his notes, and they looked like, E.T.-like characters. So this recent Montana killer and then this Kazoo Killer, these people are textbook crazy. Gets his hands on a gun, drives around and shoots people. The Kazoo Killer. I'm setting aside the Montana guy. The only reason I brought the Montana guy in is because he was truly crazy. Some of these other gunmen don't really seem crazy. They just seem angry. So the Kazoo Killer is unquestionably crazy, like way off the charts crazy. So what does he say? That the app made him do it. The Uber app, which was functioning properly, it wasn't say go kill people on the street. It was functioning properly, but he had this idea when it went red to green, when it went red, he was supposed to go kill people. And he also kind of wanted the police to realize that they should sort of be grateful. I'm not sure those are his words, but indirectly he was saying that the app saved their lives because when he was being ambushed, when he was being apprehended, the app somehow went green, which told him that he should not kill the police. Woo! All right, so this guy's textbook crazy. Not just an angry guy with a gun. He is a crazy person with a gun. and the app told him to kill people. So I'm going to take the Kazoo killer and say, the app in the mind of a crazy person can get people to kill people. Well, maybe with people who aren't crazy, like me and listeners, those of you who aren't crazy, maybe you'll come to understand that this app that becomes your boss, your supervisor, your HR department, your payroll, and everything, instructing you all the day, is not the most normal thing in the world. And sometimes even a normal, balanced, not psychotic person can feel a little crazy. So just remember, listeners, please, the Kazoo killer, this guy literally went off and killed people with the app. Don't do that. In addition to not doing that, just recognize that this is not normal way of working. Well, it's the new normal. It's highly efficient. It's going to be happening more and more. And if you figure out how to do it, you're going to be ahead of the curve. But the truth is, when you don't have a boss, you don't have supervisors, you don't have coworkers, you don't have an HR department, you don't have payroll, it's a little weird. Not weird enough to make you kill people, but weird. So again, just moving on from the Kazoo killer, a moment of respect to the true tragedy that represents. It is a very sad event for the surviving members of the people he killed. I'm deeply sorry. Moving on, today's deliveries. Here they are. I only did 4. And they are here. I think I'm opening this a second time. I wish I could. I thought I had it open and ready to. Yeah, here it is. So my final delivery was Sweet Green. My first one was Juice Generation, 223. Then I did Juice Press at 249. Shake Shack at 401. I did Smart Green at 443. I was modestly productive, mostly not. 2 o'clock is certainly not dinner time rush. So listeners, please, I'm going to move on quickly, but if you want to spend more time here, you can take the time, take the money I made. This guy here, he not only, the tip isn't pending, he got into the app and said 0. He determined that I was entitled to 0 gratuity, which of course can be explained by 2 reasons. One, this guy is a cheap prick, or he realizes that he lives right on top of the restaurant and I truly didn't earn a gratuity. Either way, I got nothing. And he has gotten into the app and said nothing. I'm not tipping. I did get 486 from this cheap bastard. Shake Shack, I got a tip there also. These 2 are pending. Some of the pending really do, 24, 48 hours, they really do come in. Okay. Again, listeners, I went past that screen quickly, but if you want to get in and try to calculate an hourly rate, you got an opportunity to do that, provided you also have what I'm about to show you now, which is the dashboard, okay? So you can take 313, forget the 47, 313 divided by 47. That's going to get you, for me, someone that's really not making a great effort to tweak the dollars in my favor. I mean, I'm not being sloppy and careless, but I'm sitting down, I'm doing training from Starbucks, I drink a lot of coffee. I'm certainly not lazy, but there's a lot of people hustling more than me. So with that said, and I'm also new, so I'm new. So I have the opportunity to be more efficient and make more. So 313 divided by 47 will get the total dollars I've made per delivery. Moving on. I think here is my agenda. There's my deliveries for today and the dashboard. I did those together. Then finally, my rating. This, listeners, I'm going to do this. I'm looking at it. It's already there, but this is how I search my mail. So if you're in Outlook, you do exactly the same thing if you're in something else. So I go down here. This is kind of cool. Right here, yeah, here we go. 543, swap instructions. You requested a swap. it goes on to say it's not guaranteed. Please remember your responsibility to find a replacement. Good luck. I really believe this is not a problem in New York in general, and I don't really need luck. I just ignore these. Listeners, I could be wrong. You could be headed to trouble if you continue to ignore them the way I ignore them. But I really think with New York City, it is one of the 10 profitable cities that this is not anything they try to turn the screws to their delivery people, but it very well could be elsewhere in a less profitable market. So I just ignore these. But look what comes along. 543, 543. The same time I put it up for swap, someone snagged it. Absolutely awesome. So that's an example of the New York market, probably San Francisco, probably Los Angeles as well. So now I scan down further. Okay, I'm going to go up here. I see why I found it before. I forgot I had added the word rating. And there it is, Postmates summary. Here are my summaries. So here is 1 day summary. Here's the breakdown of March 14th, which was yesterday. I did 3 jobs. Number of jobs that I was rated on is 1. So my rating here is 4.8, and that represents a rating of 1 job. And there's the money, but I'm not going to spend time on the money because I've done that, I think, a better job and a different. There's a 4.8 again, a 4.8. So you can see in each of these, I'm being here's my weekly summary. This is kind of cool. It tells me how many miles I go, but that's clearly wrong. A quarter of a mile is. So that's it. And we go back to this agenda. What I covered is other people must get it. Just like the woman today that decided, I'm just at the entrance that everyone else goes in, the employees, visitors who aren't delivering food, who aren't UPS, who aren't DHL, those people go through the service center. I went through the normal entrance, which is fine with residential buildings and most buildings. In this building, it's not. They move a lot of merchandise into this fashion place. So, she decides to give me a history lesson on, I haven't had this problem before. Well, I think it was rude. I called humbly to ask for help, and I think her choice of words was offensive. I was modestly offensive. I exited, went around to the service entrance, and went in. My point is, listeners, please pay attention. What happened there has the potential to convince you everybody gets it from me. I had this problem in this building, and everyone must find this easier than me. And you know how many coworkers you can talk to about this? 0. You know how many supervisors you can talk to about it? 0. You know how many people in HR you can talk to about it? 0. You know what you're at risk of feeling like? A 0. You know what? You're not. This is a new way of working. Listen to me, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. Stick with it, ride it out, and it might reward you. The Kalamazoo killer, again, this guy, the app drove him to kill. That's what happens when you combine the app, a gun, and a textbook crazy man. Well, now you take away the gun and you take away textbook crazy, and you have an emotionally, mentally balanced person, and now he or she is being directed by an app. It's enough to drive everyone a little bit crazy. I went over today's deliveries. Listeners, please, I didn't spend time on it, but you can take some time to calculate how much time I spent, how much money I made. I also went to the dashboard to show what my total rating is. So in other words, this is today's activities. This is the total rating. And then I scanned through a few emails to show my rating. I have no idea what 4.8 means. Is it on a scale of 10? Is it on a scale of 5? I don't know, and quite honestly, I don't really care. Listeners, I've been suspended from Twitter at least 10 times. I'm in the double digits. There's no question about it. I've been suspended from Twitter. at least 10 times. I will tell you, the first time it happened, I was traumatized. So these guys could suspend me, and I would be less traumatized than I was the first time when I was suspended from Twitter. This has been Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search for my site. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, good evening, or restful night's sleep. Ciao.